Hello people, today I'm going to be showing you guys how to use the chamfer and fillet tools in Autodesk Inventor 2024. So let's get right into it. So first, you're going to go over here to New, and you're going to come down to this ENUS, and then English or metric if you want to use millimeters, English if you want to use inches. I'm going to stay in English because I use inches. Click on standard inch.ipt, and click create, and that will start a new part file. Now to start this off, let's go into the top left up here and go to 2D Sketch. And let's click any of these three planes. I'm going to do this XY plane. It's my standard. Then let's go to this rectangle tool up here in the top left. Click on that, and then instead of starting a rectangle at the origin this time, I'm going to start it a little bit off the center. So let's just make a rough shape right there, and then another one on the other side on that line as well. Now, I'm going to click Escape to get out of the rectangle tool. I'm going to come up to Dimension. I'm going to dimension two 1-inch squares. So put a 1 right there, Enter. And then a 1 right here, Enter. And then the same thing on the other side. 1 right here, and I see. So there is a constraint right here keeping these two in line. So this is fully constrained in that way. Now, I'm going to actually leave this like this. It doesn't need to be perfectly black for us. We're just going to be using these two tools. So first of all, let's start with the fillet tool. The fillet tool is right up here. It says fillet. You can click on that, and it pops up with a little box. It's starting off at 0.125 inches right now, and let's stay with that for a second. If I come over here to this corner, I can click on that, and it will add a fillet. And a fillet is basically just a rounded corner. I can click Escape, and now we have a fillet right here. And I can click on this, double click on this number, and I can change the value of that. So if I click 0.2 instead, it'll make the fillet slightly bigger, as you might have been able to see. Well, let's go 0.5. And you can see it's pretty big right there. Let's go back to 0.125 real quick. And now, this fillet is measured out in a certain way. So let's click Dimension tool, and let's click this point right here, and this point right here. This dimension right here is 0.125. It's going to be from this line up until where this curve stops. Let's delete that real quick, and let's finish our sketch. If we were to extrude this, it would come out looking like this. We would have a fillet on this edge. I'm going to delete that real quick, but keep our sketch. And I'm going to talk about the chamfer tool now. Now the chamfer tool, if you come over to fillet, you can click on this little drop down arrow and switch over to chamfer. And chamfer, let's exit out of that real quick. Click on chamfer now. There we go. And chamfer, it is like the fillet, except if you click on this corner right here, it will do a straight line between the two. So instead of a curved line, it will be a straight line. Now, there are different options when using a chamfer. You can use, well, let's back out of this real quick. If you go back into chamfer, you can do the standard one where it's going to be the same distance on both sides. Or you can go to this chamfer right here. Now if you click on this chamfer, you can set different dimensions for the top and side dimensions. So if I click Escape, I can set this to, let's do 0.3. And as you can see, it will make this side longer than this side and allow you to do some pretty cool shapes. Now, I'm going to back out of that real quick. And let's go to chamfer again. And let's do this last one. If you go to this corner right here, you can see that it's going to set an angle and a dimension. So if I want to exit out of that real quick, I'm going to change this to 0.3. Which does the same thing as it was doing in the last tool, but I can change this angle to, let's say, 60 degrees. It will change how you are using this chamfer, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to back out of all that. I only ever use the first option, and let's just keep that at 0.125. Nope, it failed for some reason. Let's try one more time. There we go. Click OK. And now we have our fillet and our chamfer. And this is all contained within our sketch. So let's go and finish our sketch now. And let's do an extrude. Let's click on both our profiles. Click OK. Now we have one block with a fillet and one block with a chamfer. We can also use the fillet and chamfer tools outside of our sketches. So if you come up to the top ribbon right here in the 3D model section, you can see fillet is right here. If you click on that, you can do the same thing as in your sketch. Just click on this line and it will add a fillet. And the cool thing about this is that you can click on multiple lines at once and it will continue to create fillets, which will make a pretty cool looking box. You can also select all the lines on your box if you just highlight over everything. And then you can drag this orange arrow right here, if I can get to it, and change the size of it as well. And this one's being a little funky because I did it in the sketch, but if I did it right here, then it would be all perfect. I'm going to keep that at 0.125, and there we go. We have a filleted cube, so it makes it a little bit rounder, which is pretty nice. Now, we can do the same thing with our chamfer tool, which is right next to fillet. So if I come up here and click on chamfer, I can click on this edge, and all the other edges that I want to as well. Or just highlight the whole thing, which is not working because of these. Oh, my bad. If you hold down shift and click on the lines that you don't want to be there, then it will get rid of them. It's being a little wonky because of the sketch fillet or chamfer, but it's okay. You can see that this is how it works. It creates a more polygon type cube. Now I'm going to back out of this a little bit. I'm just going to go back and back, and let's use the chamfer tool again. The chamfer tool works the same here as it did in the sketch with the 3 options. If you come down to the second option, you can do it where you have that side and that corner, and you can change how far you want it to go in. You can change the degree right here. Let's make that 60, and boom, you've got a slanted chamfer, which is pretty cool. Now let's go back again, and let's do the last option, which is right here. And this allows us to change the distance on both of the sides in this top option right here. So if I set that to 0.5, it would make that go down farther, and this one stays at 0.25. And this gives a lot of options for creating different types of shapes in your 3D models. Let's go back and click the plus sign right here and go back into our sketches. I'm going to delete this left one and this right one actually, and let's just start all over. I'm going to start at the origin, create a 1" by 1" box, and finish sketch. Going to accept that, and this extrusion messed up a little bit because the sketch changed, but I can double click on this and click a new profile, click OK, and now I've got this box again. I'm going to click on chamfer just to show you guys how it works when it's all working properly, and highlight the whole thing, if it will let me. I was in the wrong option. Let's click up here and highlight the whole thing. Let's go to 0.125. As you can see, it's doing the whole cube. And you can make a pretty interesting geometry if you do this. If I click accept, it's kind of like a weird die, which is very neat. If I go back out of that, I can do the same thing with the fillet tool. Highlight everything, and it will make a cool, weird ball. And this can be used in a lot of applications. I've seen some people use it for creating dice that they want to 3D print. Yeah, that's the main thing that I see with it, but it's just a very useful tool, and I use it a lot in all of my work. The final thing that I would like to show you guys is a pretty common thing that people use the chamfer and fillet tools for. So let's say you have a block like this with a hole in it, or anything with a hole in it really. You can use the chamfer tool up here and use it on the rim of this circle. If I drag this in a little bit, I can create a 0.125 chamfer and apply that. This might look pretty familiar to you because this is what people use to make it a little bit easier to screw screws into objects. It adds a little bit of room for the head of the screw to lay flat with your object. So if you have a table or something, you can add a chamfer with a chamfer drill, or whatever that's called, and it will allow the screw to lay flat into it, which is very nice. And if I can show you on the bottom here, you can do the same thing with a fillet, which isn't as common because it doesn't work as well. But you know, you could if you wanted to. If you want to have a string pulled through this without it getting caught on any sharp edges, you can add a fillet. It kind of looks like a wormhole. So those are two other uses that you can use with the chamfer and fillet tools. And I use them a lot, honestly. All of these tools that I've shown so far are every time uses for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, then leave a like down below, and leave a comment too if you have any questions or have any things that you want made from me, or some tutorials or anything. Any questions. I'm also going to have my Instagram name in the description below, so you can message me on there as well. So thank you guys for watching, have an amazing day, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.